This is regarding the short film Spotlight. I thought this was very interesting. It had me wondering and intrigued and curious throughout the whole thing. I believe the message was about just the generations of fatherhood. And the spotlight was on each individual at different times and just kind of showing, all the grandfather, the father, and the son, and how maybe each generation maybe parents a little differently. I wasn't 100% sure why they were crying. There was some things that were a little confusing for me, but that's kind of the overall message that I gained from the film myself. And just, maybe the son having been raised the way he was raised by his father, then when he was around children, maybe that inspired him to go ahead and have his own child, because when he was at the group, I think it was like a church group, when he was around other kids as an adult, and they appreciated him. I think, I don't know, that was one of those things that was not quite clear to me, some of the scenes on what it was presenting or trying to get across. But to me, the whole thing was about fatherhood and the different generations and how they cope and how they parent. So I thought it was interesting. It kept, like I said, it kept me curious and intrigued, and I kind of just wanted to know more about all of these people and what the main characters were going through. I thought the acting was nice. I just kind of wasn't 100% sure of if my take on it was correct. But again, art can be subjective, so good job to everybody involved, and I wish you the best of luck.
This film is called Spotlight. This was an eerie yet effective short from Canada. A character called Andrew cares for his newborn, but then is haunted by the presence of his father. What set this film apart for me was the ongoing sound effect of the chimes, so ominous and gloomy, in contrast to the cheerful sounds of the baby mobile. The sad flashbacks and intense camera angles were well done, showing the tension between the son and his harsh, hypercritical father. Good pace and direction, excellent writing about generational influences and parenting doubts. I love the performances of the cast members too. Great job.
Spotlight was very well done. I thought that they did a great job of handling the transitions between the timelines. I thought it was quite clear what timeline we were in. And the performances were fantastic from all of the different actors. Um, it's telling the story of fatherhood, of generational raising, but also generational traumas, and how those can be passed down. And we can see our main character kind of struggling with the idea of being a dad, um, and that being kind of characterized through his father, his late father, coming back and kind of helping him face those issues head on, because it does stem from somewhere inside of himself and the experiences that he had as a kid. So I really loved this concept. I thought it was very well storyboarded. It was very well executed, and I mean the lighting was just absolutely stunning. There was some beautiful, really dramatic shots in there that was just so visually pleasant and pleasing to look at. So great job to the cinematographer and who lit this, because I think it made such a big difference in how the story was told, but also just the overall quality of the film. So this was fantastic.
Hi, these are my comments on Spotlight Online. This was a really fantastic short. I think that the star of the show is the cinematography and the director of photography. They really killed it in terms of creating evocative imagery that stays with you. particularly the use of the spotlight and the use of light, that final image of the two men with the light sort of shining through them is so cool and so powerful. And the use of light to also orient you in the different timelines was so great. And it really helped you go through the narrative and know exactly where and when you are as soon as the scene starts. I also think that this was really meticulous filmmaking in terms of the transitions, like the smoking transition when the man lights a smoke and then you're on the balcony, or the lead sits down and then you're back in the present. Uh, and the use of like cool and warm palettes to sort of bolster these transitions and to really help you follow the narrative. So smart and really, really cool to watch. Yeah, I love the chemistry between these actors. I think that the story is really like a time and a mind bender at the same time. And I think you can't help but appreciate their performances in conjunction with the story. They all did a really great job, and I believe that they are all like, I believe that the young boy turned into that young man. I think that even down to the child actors were really strong. And I believe that all of these are part of the same like familial lineage, down to like their body language and their facial expression. I think everything was really specific and really meticulous, and it was really a joy to watch.
The reviews for Spotlight. I enjoyed this film a lot, even though it's quite dramatic. I loved their performances and the story behind this was so relatable. Their use of the darkness and the spotlight was a very clever alignment to the title and speaks so much and with so subtlety about the generational trauma that I believe they are trying to showcase with this film. It was just very nicely done, and it speaks volumes about the impact anything has on people after you and the impact you had based on whatever happened with people before you. So it's just a very nicely done storytelling, and I had a great time.
I love the contrasting colors between the past and the present within the color grading. It made it very clear what world we were in, whether we were in memories or whether we were in the present with his new baby. This is a very intense conversation for a father to have with his child, or for a father to have with his son, definitely. Even as adults, there's a lot of things we probably still want to tell our parents, but we've been trained not to tell them things that will hurt their feelings, even though we really want to, because it might make them better people, or it might make us better as well. It makes it an awkward situation, but this film showed it in a very realistic way where you want to tell them and you feel guilty after you do, but you don't really regret it. So it was well done in story and definitely in color grading and lighting.